Okay, I thought I'd put together a quick video on the map making tool that I'm building. So uh, you can see my screen here, and the left upper I have the game Besiege open. Below that I have the mapmaker console. And while it's in development, we have it putting a lot of data out to that console. And then on the right, this big blank white field with a sort of bluish purple square in the middle is our map editor. Now, if you look across the top, it lists out what keys I've already built into it and what they do. Escape will simply quit the map editor and save a 0 bytes long level. There will be nothing in it. It's an empty blank file. The reason for this is when the program launches, it goes ahead and creates the file. But if you exit before you've put anything in it, it doesn't have anything. If you exit after you've put things on there without saving, then you didn't save. When you save, it actually writes the file, closes it out, reopens it, and appends any additional changes on there. So saving hasn't been thoroughly tested yet. At least saving and then continuing to edit hasn't. Um, Use that one at your own risk. F2 and F3 rotate through the tools. Currently, there are only 3 tools, though, even though there are 4 modes for the tool cursor. You'll see next to the cursor is a number. And if you look over here to the top right, mouse wheel sets the scale of the prefab that you're going to place. So in the case of a brick wall, which is tool number 1 up here, or a black line, scale determines the length of the wall. So we're going to put a 50 unit long wall out there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the next tool, which is a wall going the other direction. And we're going to place it about there. And then we're going to grab the next tool, which is the spire. And the spire is the little tower thing that you can see over here in Besiege. It's something I threw together really quickly to have an additional tool. It does need to be fleshed out. Now, scale 1 for this should generate a nice, neat, pretty looking little tower. Larger scales tend to mess things up a little bit from what I've seen, but we're going to go ahead and make a couple so that we can look at them in the game. Now, F4 does a reset. Now what that does is it wipes out what you've got, clears the board, and starts over. Does not save anything. And then, as I said before, F5 saves and quits. Now below the key, the instructions here, the key mapping at the top, you'll see that we have 8 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we currently have the number 3 tool selected. Now that will eventually get replaced with the label for what that tool might be. We also have an indicator of our scale to sort of complement the one next to the cursor. And then we have the X and Y position of the mouse. Now, in the next release, I actually want to correct that to be a lot closer to the X and Y position that it's plotting things. And there's a reason for that. There's a fundamental difference in the way that the UI plots XY. Basically, up here is 0, 0 to the user interface of the map maker, while right here where the player spawn is 0, 0, 0 for Besiege. And then in Besiege, you go negative, positive, and then I believe negative, positive. So this in the UI, in the back end of the UI, is not 0, 0, and this would not be negative whatever. This would be somewhere between 0 and this being halfway. So if that was all confusing, don't pay it any attention. The gist of it is all of the controls are across here at the top, and you'll notice that your little mouse cursor can't go up in there. That's not a working area of the map editor. Now, once we've got our, and you can't click on those to make them do anything yet, might be a future feature. Once we're done, we like what we've got, we're going to press F5 to save and quit. Now I want you to watch the console when I do. F5. Now, what this will have done is create a new map file. We're going to copy that and we're going to put it in our custom levels. Then we're going to go back into Besiege and open our newly generated map. Now, there's some little bugs and quirks with things like the brick wall generator, because if you set your scale long enough and don't space them correctly, they can overlap in the corners like this. You can also see where scaling the spire had some interesting results regarding what it looks like. So the prefabs aren't 100% done. None of the code for this is 100% done, but it does permit doing some things that the in-game map editor it would be very time consuming and tedious and kind of painful to do with map edit, such as these brick walls. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is why are these brick walls, like what's so awesome about these brick walls that makes them a selling point for this tool? And that's very simple. It's this. They're made up of individual physics ready or physics enabled bricks. So you can crash, smash, blast, boom, whatever you want to these walls, and they collapse according to the physics simulation in the game engine as bricks should do. So this is just a very early run through of how the mapmaker works. When you launch it, it is going to keep a console window open. Like I said, it's still in development. We output a lot of information there. So if at any point it were to crash, or you do something and it crashes, anything like that, please copy or screenshot what was in this console window when you report the crash. That way we can identify, or at this point I can identify, unless someone else wants to jump in and help develop this, what might be to blame for the crash. Now, as I go through the tools, there's two that don't work quite yet, the spire and then the other one. The green block is just there as it's a dummy tool. It doesn't do anything. The red dot does spires. Black line is horizontal walls, and a blue or lavender line is vertical walls. So, hope this was informative. If you have any suggestions for prefabs that you'd like to see added to this tool, suggestions for features you'd like to see added to it, anything of that sort, drop me a line in the comments. Look for me on the Besiege Discord, and let me know.